fools. Got that fire inside, we're rising up to shine. This is our time, yeah, we're feeling so divine. Oh, we're thriving, we'll be thriving, bold and free. Women owning midlife, just you wait and see. Dance through the changes with a heart so strong. This is our anthem, come and sing along.
Hello, my friends, and welcome back to Not Your Mother's Midlife. I am your host, Johanna Hart, and in today's episode, we're talking about hair thinning, why it happens, the actual evidence-based steps that can make a big difference. There's no miracle cures, no magic gummies, just the facts, a few contraptions and the facts. I have always had fine hair. I was never the girl with the thick, luscious ponytail, ever. But lately, it's hit a new level. It feels like I've regressed to toddler hair. I feel like I have hair like a toddler. It is super fine, wispy. I'm half expecting someone to hand me a sippy cup and tell me that it's nap time. But it's also very dry and brittle and breaking. And to be honest, mine is a combination of fine hair and thinning due to hormones, but also due to self-sabotage. Kind of destroyed it myself. I was trying to save a buck by coloring my own hair, and not darkening it, but lightening it. Yikes. So now I'm back seeing my fabulous hairstylist, Morgan, and together we're working our way back to healthier, shinier, non-broken hair. But it's still so fine, like a little toddler. Other than my self-destructive attempt at bleaching my own hair, let's start with the question we all ask ourselves in the mirror when our hair starts to thin. Is this just part of life now? Do I just have to accept this? For a lot of us, it creeps up during our 40s and 50s. The ponytail starts feeling more like a shoelace. I have friends who've noticed that their part has widened. You can see more scalp. They've changed their hairstyles or wearing the hair in a different way so it's not as noticeable. I'm noticing more hair on the pillow, clothing, going down the drain in the shower, everywhere except for where it's supposed to be, on your head. And why is this happening? It's often a hormonal shift. Yay. Another great thing that happens to us. Estrogen and progesterone help keep your hair in the growth phase. And when they start to dip, the hair spends more time resting and then shedding. And because you're out of balance, then the androgens like testosterone get to have more influence. They cause the follicle to shrink over time. Thick strands turn into finer ones. Then you see that soft peach fuzz that you see in the elderly. And it's usually not full baldness, thank goodness, that us women see, like you see in men. It's more of a general thinning all over, or a widening part, the crown looking sparse, or your hairline moving back, seeing more of your forehead. And while hormones play a big role for many, there are other reasons. One is genetics. If your mom or your grandmother had fine or thinning hair, your follicles might just be following the family map. Then there is iron deficiency, one of the biggest, easiest reversible causes in women. Your body is smart, and if iron is low, it sends what little there is to your heart and brain, not your hair. Another reason for thinning hair could be thyroid issues, both an underactive thyroid, which is hypothyroidism. That's a hard one to say. And an overactive, here we go again, hyperthyroidism. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. They can both cause shedding. And with hypo, the hair gets dry, brittle, slow growing. You might even lose the outer thirds of your eyebrow. If you notice your eyebrow on the outside are just starting to disappear, get your thyroid checked. With hyper, everything speeds up and the hair just falls out faster. But the good news is you treat your thyroid and usually the hair regrows once levels stabilize. Give it 6 to 12 months. Finally, there's shock shed. And that has a real name that I will try and pronounce, Collagen effluvium, but we're going to stick to shock shed. Gosh, it sounds like someplace you take someone out and torture them. If you've had major stress, like surgery, a high fever, an illness like COVID, do you remember when people noticed that they were shedding a lot of hair after having COVID? Rapid weight loss, a lot of people on GLP-1s are talking about that their hair is thinning or falling out, and it's because they are losing weight too rapidly and not eating enough nutritious food. So that is what's causing their hair loss. Even stopping birth control, or mothers, after we give birth, we lose a lot of hair. And I don't know if that's a combination of the hormones or the shock shed, because it sure is a shock after you have a baby and Yeah, that throws you right into life, doesn't it? Had 5, so I wonder if I've got any hair left on my head. And it doesn't always happen just straight after. It can take 2 or 3 months before you notice it. And it's just your body's way of saying, I'm too busy trying to survive right now, and let's just get rid of this excess hair so we're not sending nutrition, etc., to that part of the body, which makes sense. Thank goodness most people, after the shock shed, see it bounce back in 6 to 12 months. Now we're going to move on to more of a contraption that could help. It's red light, and my experience borrowing my husband's. My husband has been trying to keep his hair from jumping shit for some time, and he has this hairband. It looks basically like a girl that you're wearing a hairband to pull your hair back. It looks like that, but it's heavy. It's a little machine. And this band emits red light, and he wears it while he's brushing his teeth or doing some activity, just killing 2 birds with 1 stone. And I always have a little bit of a giggle and ask him what messages the aliens are giving us today, because it looks like he's talking to aliens. He doesn't find it funny, but I ask him every time and have a laugh, and he just looks at me. When I hit that toddler hair desperation stage just recently, I started sneaking the little thing on myself. I started to wear it, thinking maybe it will work for me. But I also wanted to see if there's any science behind it, or if it's just some desperate attempt for men to try and keep their hair and not use chemicals. And there is science behind it. It's called low-level laser therapy, or LLLT. That's clever. It improves blood flow to the scalp, reduces inflammation, and basically gives your follicles a little energy boost. Apparently for some women, it's a real game changer, and it works. There's less shedding and your hair comes back thicker. For others, the results are more modest. It has no side effects, so that's great, except for the temporary alien communication aesthetic of it. The brand that we have, I don't know why I find myself so funny. The brand we have is called Hair Max. It's a laser band, so you put it on and it's a timer. It's red and then it buzzes, and so then you move it to another part of your head. So it's kind of like a little bit labor intensive because you've got to like move it around your head. But there's other ones, like there's one called Current Body Skin LED Hair Regrowth Device. That's a really short little name for something, but it's a full helmet. So you can get the coverage all over and just sit there in that helmet. There's one called Iris Store that has a lot of great reviews. A higher dose red light hat. It looks more like a baseball cap, less space station-y vibe about it. And there's one called, I don't know how to say this word, KIIERR. It's a more affordable, apparently, caps, because some of these can be quite pricey. So you just have to go and have a look and see what fits your budget and routine. If you want something that you can just pop on and watch TV, or you want to move it around like the headband. A lot of them have money back guarantees, so that's great. I'll link all of these in the show notes below so you can click on and have a look. But consistency is the key. Give it a few months. I haven't been that consistent or been doing it for long enough time to notice any changes myself. And also, to be fair, because I am being kinder to my hair, so it's hard to tell if the red light would be working or if it's me just like not freaking destroying my hair. But I'm going to give it a few months and then I'll check back in with you, let you know. Now let's address supplements, the good, the bad, and the biotin trap. Yep, we'll talk about that later. The supplement aisle can be so overwhelming when it comes to hair regrowth products. It's a multi-billion-dollar industry built on our anxiety and vanity, to be honest, really. First up, let's talk about collagen. Collagen is the most abundant protein in your body. It's what gives structure to your skin, joints, bones, and yes, it supports the scalp and hair follicles too. I don't know if you can hear the dog barking, but he's barking at something out there. Hair itself isn't made of collagen, it's mostly of keratin. But collagen provides the foundation around the follicles. It helps maintain a healthy scalp environment. It improves blood flow for nutrient delivery and supplies key amino acids like proline and glycine and others that feed into keratin production. When we talk about collagen for hair, we're usually referring to hydrolyzed collagen peptides. These are broken down, easy to absorb forms from sources like fish and cows, or even plant alternatives. The idea is that supplementing, potentially helping with thinning, shedding, or just making existing hair look better, thicker, shinier, less brittle, which is what I need. Most research on collagen focuses on skin, though, because it improves elasticity, hydration, reducing wrinkles. We all know that. But for hair specifically, The studies are smaller and often combined with other ingredients. So hopefully they do more studies on that. One study found that marine collagen helps keep follicles in the active growing stage longer, which could mean less shedding and better retention of length. That's the hard thing. I don't know if it happened to anyone else, but the older you get, it's like your hair gets to a length and that's it. It's hard to grow really long hair. For me, it is anyway. In animal models and cell studies, collagen peptides have stimulated dermal papilla cells, the ones that control hair growth. They even increase hair growth in mice. So works for mice, it might work for men, mice and men. Human clinical trials on a hydrolyzed collagen supplement, often including vitamin C, reported improvements in hair's healthy appearance. Participants felt their hair was thicker and smoother, and there was also a noticeable increase in total hair count. Other reviews and smaller trials suggest collagen peptides can increase hair diameter or thickness. Gosh, I'd like that. Leading to a fuller looking without necessarily growing tons of new hair, just like every follicle is bigger. It seems to strengthen what you've already got to reduce breakage and improve shine and elasticity in the shaft. If you don't want to take a supplement, how do you get collagen through food? Your body makes it from amino acids. So eating protein-rich foods like bone broth, chicken skin, yum. I know this sounds disgusting, but I love chicken skin, fish, eggs, plus vitamin C sources, like, citrus, berries, whatever, bell peppers, capsicums, as we call them in Australia, to boost production. Supplements are convenient, but if you're going to get a supplement, look for hydrolyzed peptides from reputable brands. The collagen that we use, I'll link that in the show notes. It's great. It doesn't taste like anything. You just mix it in a smoothie, or I even mix it in water and just chug it down. Okay, now we're going to tackle one of the most hyped supplements out there, biotin, also known as vitamin B7 or vitamin H. You see it everywhere. Ads claiming it'll give you thicker, longer, shinier hair almost overnight. But does the science actually back that up? So let's break it down. Biotin is a water-soluble B vitamin that plays a key role in the body's metabolism. It helps convert food into energy, which is crucial for producing keratin, that tough protein your hair is mostly made of. It supports cell growth, including hair follicles. And if you have a true vitamin deficiency, it can lead to symptoms like hair thinning, shedding, brittle nails, and even skin rashes. In rare cases, like genetic disorders, certain medications, like anticonvulsants or extreme dietary restrictions, lower biotin levels, and they do cause noticeable hair loss, and supplementing them can actually reverse that. But here's the thing. True biotin deficiency is super, super rare. And most people, especially if you're eating a varied diet, foods like eggs, especially the yolk, nuts, seeds, salmon, avocado, sweet potatoes, your body doesn't have to store a ton since it's water soluble. You just pee it out. But you usually get enough from food alone, so you don't need to supplement it. One study showed no significant difference in hair growth between biotin and a placebo group. There's limited to no strong evidence that biotin supplements boost hair growth, thickness, or reduce shedding in healthy people without a deficiency. Unless you're really deficient, you don't need to be supplementing with biotin. There is an important flip side to why you shouldn't be supplementing with biotin if you don't have a deficiency, especially if you're popping high-dose hair gummies, etc. It can seriously mess with lab tests. I did not know this until recently. And this isn't just minor either. If you're getting blood work to check your thyroid or your hormones or other common checks, having too much biotin can throw things off and lead to misdiagnoses. Isn't that crazy? When you take high-dose biotin supplements, they say 5 milligrams, 10 milligrams or more, way above the 30 to 100 mcg from food or a basic multivitamin. If you have too much biotin and you get blood work done, it can cause a false high free T4 and free total T3 levels, making you look like you've got hyperthyroidism. And they can throw it off and make it falsely low TSH, again, mimicking hyperthyroidism or suggesting your thyroid meds are too high. So it's going to affect your thyroid tests. It can mimic Graves' disease or make it seem like your thyroid treatment needs adjusting. Even if you have a totally normal thyroid function and you get put on thyroid medication because you're taking biotin, cases of people getting misdiagnosed or delayed care because their labs looked, they had crazy thyroid issues, but the symptoms didn't match. So maybe if you do take biotin and you're on thyroid medication, maybe you want to stop taking biotin for a bit and then go and get labs done again, just so you can really see what your thyroid's doing. It's not just thyroid. Biotin can skew troponin, which is a heart attack marker. That's scary. Falsely low, potentially missing a cardiac event. The FDA has actually flagged this specifically with ongoing reports. And other hormones like PTH, cortisol, testosterone, estradiol, prolactin. It can mess with vitamin D markers, like when you get your blood done, ferritin, PSA, the list goes on. Even some cancer-related tests or tumor markers in some contexts can be blurred by taking too much biotin. Many recommend stopping high-dose biotin for at least 8 to 72 hours before testing, and some even say 2 to 7 days for very high doses or sensitive lab tests. It's safe overall. It's not toxic because it's water-soluble. You just pee it out, but it will interfere with some blood work. So that's really good to keep in mind. Now let's talk about nutrition. Hair needs amino acids and energy. Amino acids are basically a super strong protein called keratin. Oh, we heard keratin before, didn't we? It's built almost entirely from chains of amino acids, keratin is. And these are the tiny building blocks that your hair follicles use every single day to crank out new hair. And without enough of the right ones, your hair can get weak, slow growing, or start shedding more than you'd like. Now, not all amino acids are created equal when it comes to hair. The standout ones, the ones that show up big in keratin, are the sulfur-containing ones, because sulfur helps form these tough bonds that give your hair its strength, elasticity, and that signature bounce that I don't have. Top of the list, cysteine, spelled cysteine, and its oxidized form cysteine or cysteine. I don't know if I'm saying these right, which is just cysteine. It's like a spelling test. This one's huge. Hair keratin is loaded with it. Sometimes 17 to 18% of the whole structure, cysteine, is basically for building strong, resilient strands. Studies have linked it to better follicle health, and when people are low on it, hair suffers. I will link, like I said earlier, the amino acids that we use. I'll link them in the show notes as well. Then there's methionine, another sulfur-rich essential amino acid. Your body can't make this one on its own, so you have to get it from food or a supplement, and it helps with keratin production and even supports better blood flow to the scalp. It delivers more nutrients right where your follicles need them. And the thing is, when you take amino acid, it is that real sulfury like smell. When Chris takes it, I can't give him a kiss because I'll literally gag because it's really sulfury. And when I take it, I'm sure I smell the same way. But yeah, I mean, it tastes good because it's berry flavored, but it doesn't give you the freshest smell. I mean, it goes away within half an hour or whatever, but just straight out, it's like bad egg gas breath, which is not attractive. So if you're going on a date, don't have that before you go on the date. You might not ever get a second date. Anyway, so let's not forget lysine. The essential one plays a role in collagen production and helps your body absorb iron. Remember we spoke about iron earlier. And iron deficiencies are a sneaky common cause of hair thinning, especially in women. Some research shows lysine supplementation, often paired with iron, can cut down on excess shedding. A few others worth mentioning are arginine, which boosts circulation in the scalp. Proline and glycine add flexibility to the hair shaft. And things like taurine have popped up in studies for supporting follicle survival and fighting growth inhibitors. There is science that backs this up pretty solidly when it comes to basics. Hair is protein, so protein malnutrition or serious deficiencies tank hair growth. It makes sense, right? So how do you get these amino acids naturally? You can load up on protein-rich foods, or you can use a supplement, and then you've got enough in your body, so I'll link that. Bottom line is amino acids aren't a magic bullet, but they're literally the building block of your hair. So you feed your body the right ones through diet or supplements, and you might see stronger, healthier growth over time. When do you see your doctor for hair thinning? If your hair is coming out in clumps, or your scalp looks red, itchy, or scarred looking, go see a doctor. Go see a dermatologist right away. Don't wait, because scarring, alopecia, destroys follicles. But if it's caught early, you can save the hair. You wait too long, well, it's gone for good. And early recognition is everything. So if you've noticed patchy hair loss with scalp symptoms or shiny bald spots, Unlike the more common non-scarring type of alopecia, where the follicles, they go dormant, but they aren't destroyed, scarring alopecia involves inflammation that attacks and permanently damages the hair follicle. The body's immune response or other triggers destroy the follicle's stem cells, replacing them with scar tissue. And once that happens, hair can't grow back in those areas. It's irreversible. This condition affects only about 3% of people with hair loss overall. It's very rare, but it's aggressive and needs prompt attention to halt the progression. So you don't want to wait too late. It's not reversible, but they can halt the progression of it. And what causes scarring alopecia? Well, it falls into two blocks. Primary scarring alopecia, the inflammation targets the hair follicles directly, often due to autoimmune or inflammatory disorders. Common examples include, lichen planopilaris, or LPP, frontal fibrosing alopecia, FFA, often in postmenopausal women, with receding hairlines and sometimes eyebrow loss. It's always the postmenopausal women who get the raw prawn. Centrifugal I'm not even going to say that. Another form of alopecia, more common in women of African descent, starting at the crown. Just Google primary scarring alopecia and it'll give you a list of all the ones, because these words, they're not meant to be spoken out loud, I don't think. They're meant to be read. Then there's secondary scarring alopecia. External damage like severe burns, chemical treatments, harsh relaxers or hair dyes over time, infections, trauma, radiation, wearing really tight hairstyles or really tight hair extensions can put a lot of stress on it. And so that's secondary scarring alopecia. The exact trigger isn't always clear. Sometimes it's genetics, hormones, environmental, or immune factors play a role, but the end result is always the same. The follicle is getting destroyed. Progression can be slow, it can happen over time, or it can be really rapid, and symptoms vary by the type of alopecia that you have. So if your scalp looks normal between patches, but the hair just won't grow back, or there's inflammation, see a dermatologist as soon as possible. Family doctor or just a general checkup, they might miss it, but a dermatologist will be able to catch that. No cure exists yet. And once it's scarred, those follicles are gone forever. But the goal is to stop the inflammation, to stabilize the condition, relieve symptoms, and preserve what hair is left or what hair follicles are left. So if you get aggressive early treatment, it is critical. Now back to standard thinning and medical treatments. One of the most proven go-to treatments out there is minoxidil. Whether you've seen it as Rogaine bottles at the store, or you heard people talking about the oral version that's come out now, this is a staple for a reason. It started as a blood pressure pill back in the day. But most people started noticing it caused the hair growth as a side effect. So it got repurposed as topical minoxidil, over-the-counter stuff like Rogaine, foam or solution. And it is still the only FDA-approved non-prescription treatment for both male and female pattern hair loss. And it works by widening blood vessels in the scalp, boosting blood flow and nutrients to the follicles, prolonging the growth phase, and potentially stimulating dormant ones. It's one of the mainstays with proven safety, tolerability, and efficiency over decades. Studies show it increases hair count and density in most users, especially when started early. And many see less shedding in 2 to 4 months, thicker, fuller hair by 6 to 12 months. And you have to keep using it forever, because when you stop, you're going to start losing hair again within a few months. Some good news, the low-dose oral minoxidil prescribed by doctors is available as a pill. And you ask, why oral? Because it hits the follicles systematically for more consistent delivery, often better than the topical, because you have to apply it evenly and you might not get an even coating every single time. And the topical one's messier. It can also irritate the scalp for some people. One thing about minoxidil, it can make hair grow in other places, like your face, arms, or body. It can cause unwanted hair growth in areas outside the scalp. And it's actually the most common side effect. And this happens because minoxidil stimulates hair follicles wherever it reaches them, whatever it touches. The topical one, the foam, there's another liquid solution. It's usually localized. You're putting it on your scalp, but it can spread. If it drips or it gets transferred by your pillow or your hands, you will notice unwanted growth. And most often it's going to show up on your face, your forehead, your cheeks, sideburns, upper lip, chin. It obviously doesn't bother men as much as it does women. If you're happy with the hair growth on your head, then you can just, use the other ways to remove the hair. I can't imagine having a freaking furry forehead. If androgens are driving the hair thinning and loss, especially with PCOS or polycystic ovarian syndrome, fixing the imbalance helps with hair loss. PCOS is super common. Elevated androgens shrink follicles, causing thinning hair, a wider part, the crown sparsity. You might also notice excessive dark, coarse hair on the face, chest, back, acne, oily skin past the teenage years, growing skin tags, or darkening skin increases. But not everyone has all the signs. PCOS is very treatable. There's a prescription drug called spironolactone that's gained huge traction off-label for female pattern hair loss, and with recent studies is looking really good for certain cases. The brand name is aldactone. It's primarily a diuretic, originally approved for high blood pressure, heart failure, and fluid retention, but it has powerful anti-androgen effects. It blocks androgen receptors, the most common one, which is DHT, that shrinks the hair follicles, and reduces overall androgen production from the ovaries and adrenals. For women where hormonal factors like excess androgens often tied to PCOS, or postmenopausal women, or just genetic sensitivity, if that's what's driving the female pattern hair loss, this can be a game changer. It slows miniaturization, reducing shedding, and in many cases promotes regrowth or thick hair strands. It's not FDA approved specifically for hair loss. It's used off-label, like a lot of drugs. But dermatologists prescribe it commonly, and results take time, usually 3 to 6 months to notice less shedding, and 6 to 12 months for visible regrowth or thickening of the hair. There are side effects: breast tenderness and enlargement, fatigue, dizziness, nausea, scalp itching, facial hair growth in some, mild blood pressure changes in some people, and also it can cause initial shedding in the first few months as the follicles reset, but it's temporary. And the same happens if you're using Rogaine. It will grow back, but that could be a little bit shocking for people starting that and thinking it's getting worse, but it might get worse before it gets much better. Look, hair is tied to how we feel, especially as women. And it's okay to be bothered by it, and it's okay to want to fix it. But don't let the miracle cure crowd take your money. I've shared this so you don't waste money on things that don't work, and try things that do work. I hope this episode has helped you. If you know somebody who's dealing with hair issues, big or small, share this with them. It might help. And please subscribe so you know when new episodes come out. I so appreciate it. And until next week, I'm Johanna Hart, and this is Not Your Mother's Midlife, or Your Mother's Midlife Hair. Bye-bye.